Hey, so this is my Englander, I think it's 25 PDVC, or another name that it goes by is Summer's Heat 55 SHP10, I think. It's supposed to be, it works for 1,500 square foot homes, though it's not quite big enough for my home. My home is several hundred square foot um, bigger than what it can meet. However, I've had this pellet stove for probably about 5 years now. I bought it used, and it has served me quite well. However, I got to a point where I kind of needed it to burn more pellets. You know, on its own, essentially, it's just from so everything here I added, and also the little, you know, like what's it called, the little um, attachment for keeping the top from, the cover from hitting the accidentally hitting my exhaust pipe. That said, so I looked into purchasing a hopper extension. The hopper that comes originally with the pellet stove. Let me see if I can open this up quickly. Normally only barely just accepts one bag, and you kind of have to make it work by leveling it out as much as you can so that it would fit. So everything from just beneath this lip is the original hopper. So that would normally take just about one bag, but you have to get creative to make it take one bag. So, and that would last probably anywhere from anywhere from say about 7 p.m. ish to like about 3 in the morning. And I used to have to wake up and come and refill it. It was quite annoying, but it was something that was necessary that I did anyhow. Um, I didn't use my pellet stove last year. However, the cost of heating homes is starting to go up this year. I, so I was saying, I figured that I was gonna have to do a combination this year by using my pellet stove and my regular home heating system. So I started looking into purchasing a hopper extension, if not used, then maybe brand new. Englander stove or Summer's Heat, as they call themselves, I think currently don't make a hop extension for this particular model. I did find a couple of people on eBay, I think, that were selling them for quite a crazy amount, probably like about almost $300, I think. I just couldn't get myself to shell that kind of spend that money for basically a metal box that will be attached to my pellet stove. So I started kind of looking into building one myself, and this is what I've come up with right here. So it's I literally just finished attaching it today. Um, so this is what we have here. So I have like a top frame that I built and a bottom frame, like an L, um, an angle bar. Sorry, and just to kind of give it, like the sheet metal, some form of rigidity. So I essentially measured out the original top of the pellet stove opening, but I actually slightly screwed up. But I screwed up in a good way, unknowingly. I wanted to make it match the exact opening, original opening of the pellet stove, so just to avoid any, screw ups. But at some point, while I was, marking it out to try to build it, I mistakenly used the interior surface of the top of the cover to actually mark it out. So what that led to is this is actually slightly bigger. You can see there's like a lip. This is the body, same thing here, all around, So it's actually bigger than, the area wise, it's bigger than the original hopper, which means a few more pellets in there. Now, I did kind of think about putting like an angled plate to kind of help force the pellets down, but at some point I just said screw it. I let gravity take in as much as possible, as much of the pellets as possible. Whatever's left is probably not gonna be a whole bunch. Whatever the case, I'm okay with that. So the red stuff you see here is essentially RTV red silicone sealant. It can, deal with a lot of heat, and I think it can last up to like 15 years. I left the original gasket that was there before I started building this thing. It was still in good shape. I put this on about, I want to say about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, maybe. And it's still in very good shape. And I figured if I mounted, the lip from my, my hopper box. Sorry, I kind of had a brain fog there, but onto it, that it would actually not, like frail, that it will last for a long time, and that's what I believe will happen. Granted, I didn't quite cut these sheet metal screws short. It's because my hand won't be going into that area that often, and if it does, I'm gonna be super careful. We're dealing with that, so there's some here, too. I can't really, so they're all the same length. So, but long story short, so this is what I came up with. This is 16 gauge sheet metal. That's 16 gauge. All of them are 16 gauge metal. Metal is expensive, guys. But yeah. So this is what I have. I need to purchase some new gaskets to reapply to the top to help with sealing it properly. I have some from the last time I did it, but it's just enough to serve the two short sides, so I need to get something for the other long sides. While screwing this down, the screw actually pulled, these two lips together to form a very good tight seal. So I have no concerns that of the level of seal. It's a pretty good seal. And pretty much what I'm left with trying to do right now is I have 3 bags of pellets. I'm gonna try to see how much of those from those 3 bags of pellets I can. They're like what, like 40 pounds, 40 pound bags of pellets. So I'm gonna try to see how much of them I'm gonna be able to fit in here. I think I should be able to fit at least 2 1/4, anywhere to 2 1/4, 2 1/4 to 3. 3 is kind of me, kind of pipe dreaming a little bit, but one way to find out, I'm just gonna have to load it up and see what happens. I'll be back with that information shortly. So quickly, this is what 1 bag of pellets looks like. 40-pound bag. Yeah, it almost takes a whole bag. You kind of have to get creative to get all the 1 bag in there, but this is the best I can do right now. Let me try to put the other 2. I'll be back. So so far I have been able to successfully put in 2 bags, 40 pounds. So this is 40 pounds bag from Lowe's. So 2 of them, 80 pounds so far. Well, let me see how much of the last bag I can put in. Yeah, so I'm back. I was able to put more than half of this bag. That's what's left. Normally bags come up to about here, I think. Yeah, about here, and so it's way more than half. Right, almost 3/4 almost, but yeah. The thing about it is, so I've got it filled to the top. I left little pockets for the latches. These latches for easily just locking onto, keeping the cover closed. So yeah. So my last thing now is to put the gasket on top, and then excuse my dog. Hey, shh. Anatolian shepherds, they have their own independent mind. That's it. I'm gonna be. Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. So that's it. I'm gonna be cleaning my exhaust system in probably about a week or so, and that'll be it. Sorry about my dog. She's a gangster like that. But take care, folks.